Hello, welcome to the I Vomit Podcast, an extension of the Vomit series of podcasts. As always, I'm your host, Mac Taylor, and we are here today to talk about more Big Brother Canada 9, episode 25. We are in the final five. We are nearing the end. And as much as I've loved this season, as much fun as I'm having, there's been a lot of reality TV going on. I've covered this. I did the rewind of BB1. I've been doing Real World Reunion and Challenge All-Stars. So when Big Brother Canada 9 comes to a close, that's 3 less shows a week I have to do. So that will be a small reprieve. Although I've loved this season Big Brother Canada so far. And without further ado, let's dive right into this episode. So we start out, Braden is thrilled with his first HOH, which it's a great time to be HOH because we're nearing the end game. This is when you want to be in control because you never know who the target's going to be. And he wants to target Beth because he wanted to target Beth in the last eviction, but Ty and Kief were hell bent on taking out Tara. Now this is his HOH, not Ty's HOH. He wants Beth to go. Beth on the flip is pissed. She's again on the bottom because she went from pretty much being able to, wishy-washy her way through the whole game. And now for, the third consecutive elimination in a row, she has no control, no say whatsoever. So Kief thinks Brey could use him as a pawn because Kiefer had used Braden as a pawn. So, turnabout fair play if he does that. Ty, on the other hand, he's always talking about he's not an emotional player. He's like, yeah, I'm not an emotional player. If I was an emotional player, Jeb would still be here. That's all I'm saying. I'm like, Ty, you kept Kiefer because you felt bad. So, you should have taken Kiefer out and also taken Jed out, to be quite honest. But yes, you did take out Jed a little bit too unemotionally. You didn't really need, it wasn't necessary with the amount of no fucks you gave. But yes, you are playing. Ty, his stock in the game has gone up significantly. I will say that. Meanwhile, Kiefer is trying to pitch Beth and Tara going up again because this makes the most sense. They were just up. We can put them right back up again. Doesn't matter who the target is. It's much easier. There's no blood that unnecessarily needs to get spilled because you just put up the same people that were just up a couple days ago. So Kief goes to Wendy's with Brey. Brey gets a message from his mom. Very wholesome stuff. Brey talks about a potential final 3 with Ty and Kief. And I actually think that's kind of tricky for him, but also it's kind of hard for Brey to beat anybody in the end at this point. It's not impossible for him to beat anybody, for him to win, but it's going to be hard, especially against Kiefer and Ty. You might be able to beat Tara, maybe, and you may be able to beat Beth, depending on the jury. But I don't see him beating Kiefer and Ty at this point, especially because Ty has done a lot of work in the past couple of weeks about, raising his stock in the game. So, again, but, there's not a whole lot of options, and I understand where Brey is coming from to want to take Ty to the end. So Kief is worried, basically, if Beth wins veto, he could be, the next target in line. And that very well could be the case. Although I could more so see Tara going home in that instance because, she's already been voted out once. It's very easy to vote her out again. But it would be a good move to take a shot at Kief because he is probably the front runner to win the game at this point. So, if you could get him out at 5, you should probably do that. So Tara knows it's easy to nominate her again. She was just voted out. When someone comes back into the game that was already previously voted out, it is so easy to put them back up again because they've already been evicted. You can't, hurt them any more than you did when you voted them out. Like it's, it's basically just like kicking a dead horse. So Ty is playing Brey's crush. He's trying to, and we had all been speculating for the past few weeks that, they've been flirting a lot. So like, is there something there, or is one playing the other? And we didn't quite know for a while. We didn't have any actual diary room confirmation on the feelings. And while we haven't necessarily got it from Brey, it does seem that Brey, is a little more into Ty. And Ty says here that he's just trying to play up that emotion to try to make sure he has Brey moving forward. And I think, again, and if he can convey that in a final two with Braden, with all the other things he's been involved with in this game, I see Ty winning there. So Ty says, it's a safe move to Brey to copy, Ty's moms of Beth and Tara. And again, I think that's the right move. If you're not going to if you want Beth out, this is the way to do it. If you want Kiefer out, put Kief and Beth up. Because, actually, if you want Kief out, you should probably put Kief and Tara up, because that way you don't make Beth mad knowing she's going to stay. That's probably the route I would take there. But if you want Beth out, put her up with Tara. Very, very simple. So Ty thinks he can beat Brey, like we've all talked about. I think that's very well possible. Beth wants to be the last one in Brey's ear. And it has shown quite a few times this season, the last person to talk to the HOH does usually get what they want. So not a bad idea by Beth. As much as I dislike Beth and I can't stand to listen to Beth talk, this is a decent idea. So Beth wants Kief and Tara to go up and Kief to be the target. And again, that's not a bad play. However, Brey and Ty are working as the duo, which the betterment would be to take Beth out here. Again, I do think Kiefer is the bigger target, but if you want Beth out, go about it the way we spoke. But Beth, not a bad pitch. She's doing what she can. She's complaining a lot and crying a lot, but she's doing what she can. So I really can't fault her for the move. I can just fault her by how she acts when she's not playing the game. So Brey ends up nominating Tara and Beth here and calls out Beth for, hey, you wanted to keep Jed last week, which meant I would go home. You did not care if I went home. So why should I care if you go home? Facts. That is 100% truth. And Beth assumes Tara is the target. And she's like, why do I have to take the brunt of Jed's week? I'm like, hey, Tara, you wanted Tara, Beth, you wanted to say that you're the one that took the shot at the Jed. Well, here you go. Now you're going to pay for it. You wanted to say you could do it. Now you're going to pay for it. Tara's also pissed that she has to take the fall because it was, Brey, Kief, and Ty's plan, but Brey knows that, but he's not going to put up Ty and Kief. So Tara vents to Brey, and he does a good job of listening here. And she's really against Kief at this point, even though that's probably her final two, although she should maybe try to take Brey, because I don't think there's a chance in hell she beats Kief in the end. Even after this whole Jed stuff, I don't think she beats Kief, and I really don't think she beats Ty, but she could beat Brey. So Beth starts to act like, hey, I didn't vote you out, Brey. I voted out Jed, and I this was a group decision. And I was like, it was not a group decision. Brey, Ty, and Kief made that play last week. You campaigned hard to keep Jed. You wanted Brey to go, but when you saw the writing was on the wall, you went with it. So don't act like that was your, oh, I saved you, Brey. No, you didn't. Just because you don't vote somebody out does not mean you're working with them. Does not mean they owe you a favor. That just means that you targeted the other person they were on the block next to more. So that means nothing in this game. Nothing. And also, Beth was so back and forth on the issue. She's like, oh, maybe I'll get Jed out. I don't think she ever actually wanted Jed out. I just think she wanted people to think she was able to make the move. So when she got to the end of the game, she'd be like, well, I never got a chance to take the shot, but I should still beat him. That's what I think Beth was going to be about this whole game. So the fact that she's like, well, I did it. I voted Jed out. I'm like, you didn't have a choice to vote Jed out. And then you act like Ty and Kief were so back and forth. No, they were not. Just to you. Because you kept coming up to them and be like, are you sure you don't feel bad and want to keep Jed? That's on you, Beth. This is your bed. You lie in it. So Ty and Kief get confronted by Beth, who puts them on blast. And she's like, you wanted Brey out too. And he's like, I never said his name. I thought about it, but I never did it. Like, you wanted to do it. And she just went off and off and off. And Tara's like, well, great. If she's yelling at them, that's really good for me. So, good on Tara for knowing like, hey, this is good. I don't need to say shit. So, and basically what this boils down to, in my opinion, Beth is losing the game and she's pissed and she's just venting. But she does it in such a way that really gets you annoyed. You can vent in a way that isn't annoying. I think Tara's venting was, quite clear and concise. And I was not the biggest Tara fan this season, but she's grown on me the longer this game plays out. Beth actually was the complete opposite. I started out pretty okay with her, and it ended out like it physically hurts me when she's on the screen now, which is something I need to get checked out. So we get the on tilt veto comp. So it's basically like the running the ball back and forth, like in Big Brother US, but you had to add a ball every so often. It's kind of also like Survivor when you got it comes out you got the big contraption, you put the ball in and it goes left, it goes right, and then you start adding the balls. It's kind of like that, but in like that Big Brother running back and forth thing. So it's like they merged Survivor and a Big Brother comp like together. So that was really neat. And so you drop the ball, you're eliminated. Tara goes out first because she didn't space her balls out right. Kief also, he panics because that's the thing. When you're adding balls, you're panicking and you're not necessarily gauging the distance like you would be if you were calm. So Tara and Kief go out. Beth goes out and comes down very close between Ty and Brey, but Brayden wins the veto comp, has complete control of this HOH week, and has his third comp win in a row. So, he's started to make a decent case for himself to win the game. I don't think he will yet. I don't think it's there yet to where I'll feel fully confident in saying he's going to win. But, he's doing that late game resume building. So Tara's like, well, didn't win the veto, so I guess I got to kiss ass and hope they don't vote me out again. Because, 2 days ago, she was evicted. She knows not to be comfortable. And we're also so late in the game. If you're on the block, no matter what the circumstance, you should be a little worried. So Brey is he's like kind of sad Ty to have his moment. I'm like, fuck Ty in his moment, Brey. This is your moment. You need to worry about winning. Don't worry about Ty. And Kief is like, hey, please don't blindside me. And Brey's like, why would I do that? He's like, well, are you kidding me? It would be a huge move to take me out because I'm such a big threat. And I'm like, Kiefer, you never tell somebody that it would be a good move to take. That'd be like Boston Rob and Survivor being like, hey, it'd be a really good idea if you took me out here. You would really be able to win the game then. Or it'd be like Dr. Will and Mike Boogie telling Janelle and Erica, yeah, we've been playing you this whole time. So it'd be a great idea if you took us out here. Like, you don't tell someone that their resume can be built off your eviction when they have all the power this week. What are you thinking? It was nuts. I was like, Kiefer, what the hell? That's another testament to, even though Kiefer's probably the front runner right now, that doesn't mean a lot in Big Brother Canada 9. So they get a hot tub party, kind of get to take their minds off some stuff here. So Beth pitches Kief going up again. But Beth genuinely thinks Tara is going home, which I think she'll be very shocked if the plans stay the same. Not to say they can't change. Shit changes in BBCAN 9 all the time. But as of right now, Beth's going home. So Brey does not use the veto and also did a Beth. He ran Beth's info to tie. So a Beth got pulled on Beth and she didn't appreciate it. So Brey doesn't use the veto. Tara and Beth stay on the block and Beth probably gonna go home. So with that ends this edition of the podcast. I will say, I will quickly do best game, worst game. I think Kief is the front runner to win the season. In most seasons, that would not be the case, but he has a pretty decent resume. He more than anyone else gets to take credit for the get Jed to use the veto on Beth plan. And he has a lot of respect. A lot of the jury members like Tina and Ro and Vic said they would vote for him if he's in the end. And I don't think that has changed. So I'm very curious to see if Kiefer gets the finals, if he can win, because I think there's a big chance. At number 2, I'm going to say Ty here. Ty's come a long way. He went from front runner at the start to really fading into obscurity and then taking back control. He did the whole Jed move. He separated from Beth. He's targeted Beth. He got Brey on his sides, been able to use Brey's HOH. Him and Kief were able to play Tara and get them to do the whole Jed thing. I mean, she was going to do it anyway, but like they really got it to do it their way. Like the way Beth wanted to do it was how they were actually able to do it. Ty's built a resume, and he has a lot of social bonds with people. Will he have Jed and Beth's vote? That has yet to be seen, but he has a good chance, especially if he's sitting next to Brey or Tara, to win the game. Number 3 is Brey. I do think he could beat Tara in the end at this point. He's won 3 comps in a row. He's, he was able to recover from, at the time that Austin went home, he had nothing in the game. No social bonds, no capital, no nothing. And he was able to come this far after the whole Austin thing. So he has a decent resume, but again, because he was so non-existent in the first part of the game, it may actually hurt him here in the end game. And the last, probably Tara. She really only has the Jed move, and even then other people can take credit for. The only thing she really takes full credit for is the battle back. But again, she was evicted and had to win her way back into the game. So I don't think she'll be sitting in the final 2 anyway. But if she was there, it'd take a good speech and questions from people to really get her the win. I'm not saying it's impossible. All 4 of these people, because I'm pretty sure Beth's going home. And even if she got to the end, I don't think Beth's going to win. So I'm not even going to put Beth on here. But Tara probably not going to end up being there either. So with that ends the decision of the podcast. If you would like to like or subscribe and the bell notification, that's all down there. Go ahead and hit that up if you'd like. No pressure. Also, comment stuff down below. I'm here. I'm reading. I got eyes. I use them sometimes. And my name is Mac Taylor, guys. Until next time, stay safe, stay nerdy.